And welcome to another episode with the podcast guys. I am Nando.
And I am Roberto.
All right, so for today's topic, we're going to get into the negatives of online dating.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off by just going over some quick stats around online dating that I think you guys will find interesting. So in 2021, there were a reported 323.9 million dating app users. 1 in 5 internet users in the U.S. Has and uses a dating app. A quarter of online dating app users do not want commitment. So 25% of online dating app users are just looking for something casual. This is an interesting one. There was a reported $304 million in damage in online dating scams. That one I was kind of surprised to hear. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently online dating scams are pretty big.
Insanity, guys. Don't get scammed out there. Really.
50% of people say that it's easy to find people with similar interests and hobbies on online dating. And the last one, and this one's pretty interesting. So Tinder users consist of 67% men, 33% women.
All right, so now let's get into the negatives of the online dating. So now after we have some stats, we have a little bit of background. And one of the negatives of online dating is dealing with methods of ending relationships that aren't typical, that are abnormal. So what are those methods, you may ask? Well, ghosting is one of them. What do you think about ghosting? People disappear, just fall off the map. You're talking to them, things are going great, and gone.
Ghosting is a pretty new phenomenon. I think most people have at one point or another been ghosted, whether it's online dating or in person. Maybe you were talking to somebody for a while and they just randomly ghosted you. But on online dating, I think it's extremely common because what'll happen is you'll kind of start a conversation, or you might start seeing somebody and you think it's going somewhere, and then randomly they just cut you off. And both men and women get ghosted. So that's one of the downsides of online dating, is because you kind of have that online, you're kind of anonymous. You could just block somebody and never talk to them or see them again. It's harder to do it when it's somebody that you know personally, that lives in your area and you've known them for years, right? But when you meet somebody online, you could ghost them at any time and never see them again and act like you never met.
I'm going to echo that. I've heard plenty of stories of guys, men and women, talking to the person of interest, and the person of interest just falls off the map. It's like disappear without explanation, no reason whatsoever. They're just gone. And there could be a variety of reasons. There could be that, interest was lost. There could be they found interest in someone else. It could be that they got bored. I mean, it could be a variety of reasons. Sometimes they go unexplained, as what ghosting is. People just fall off the map with no explanation. They're gone. Like you said, they can just block or just unmatch, and it's over. So one of those methods is ghosting. Another one is fading.
Yeah, and this is another pretty common one. So what's the difference between ghosting and fading? Ghosting is just a sudden, no explanation. The person cuts you off, blocks you, doesn't talk to you, doesn't explain anything. Fading, and I think, again, this is pretty common in online dating. You'll start talking to somebody, or maybe you start seeing them and you kind of lose interest, and you see that interaction start to fade away. And like, it might even just be like when you initially start writing to each other, there's like that high level of interest and engagement for the first few days or weeks, and it slowly starts to fade away, and then it ends, right? Just like ghosting ends. So
absolutely, there's excitement in the match. You guys have interest in each other. Things are going well. Conversation's going well. You're even talking about meeting up soon. And then it just fades away. It dwindles away into thin air, but not quite into thin air, because they're still lingering around. They don't completely unmatch. They're still there. You guys just aren't talking really much anymore. That's pretty much what fading away means. and the difference between ghosting and fading away, what that really is. And a third one is orbiting. Oh man, don't you love those orbiters? What do you think about orbiters?
So, what is orbiting? Orbiting is when, I'll give you an example. You follow somebody on social media and you kind of like check their life out, see what they're doing, see what they're posting, look at their story without liking it. And you're just kind of orbiting around their lifestyle. You're not really interacting. You're not necessarily meeting up in person or engaging in any conversation. You're just kind of observing their life. It's like stalking, basically.
It's insane how orbiting is so interactive with what it could be like with really being with that person in some sort of relationship. Because think about it. If you have an orbiter and you're posting on social media, whether it's a post or a story on Instagram, you're posting a TikTok, you're posting a post on Facebook, whatever the case may be, they're there. They're following you on a daily basis. If you're posting on a daily basis, if you're posting every other day or every week, whatever the case is, then they're pretty much looking at what you're doing and following along with how your life is going. So it's funny because things could have gone a different way, but they just became orbiters, and they just stick around just to kind of see if things are going to get better for you. Or
all three of these lead to the same thing, disappointment, and it doesn't lead to what you were originally looking to get out of that initial connection, and, speaking with each other and meeting up. So that's kind of like one of the disappointments that people experience with online dating, because you may start talking to somebody and just get randomly ghosted, or you initially things sound exciting, you sound like you have mutual interest and like you guys like really are feeling each other, and then it just kind of fades away, or you just end up orbiting each other. And this is the orbiting one isn't something that people admit to doing, but we all look. I think all of us have done that at one point, where like you used to talk to somebody and then you just kind of like watch their social media, but you don't, you're not going to probably speak again. So
I think it's a natural effect.
Yeah.
I mean, you even see people that have dated each other, and then all of a sudden
you want to see what they're up to, or are they talking
dating
to somebody else, or how things turned out for them. So yeah,
they stop dating, and then they kind of check out how each other are, they're doing in life, and if that person ended up failing in a relationship, or if they're still single, if they get into a relationship, if they get married, whatever happens to them. So they kind of orbit around that particular person. But of course, in online dating, it's a total negative. You don't get anywhere with these three methods.
and what are people worried about nowadays? They don't want to waste their time, right? Nobody wants to have their time wasted. You don't want to put effort and time into somebody, or texting back and forth for weeks or months, and it goes nowhere, and you get ghosted, or it just the connection fades. So that's I think there are some positives to online dating, but that's definitely one that I think we've all experienced at one point or another. So let's get into number 2. What's number 2 on this list?
Number 2 is too many choices. Too many choices. What do you think about not just women, but both genders having too many choices?
And here's kind of the paradox with this. Generally, I think people like the idea of having a lot of options, right? It's the idea that you could go online and have like an endless amount of people to connect with and look through and select. It's initially appealing, but the downside to it is that the more options you have, the harder it is to select one of those options. When you go to like a fast food restaurant, there's a reason why they only have 6 items on the menu, 6 numbers to choose from, and not 50, right? Because if you went there and there were 50 things on the menu, you would be standing there for half an hour, and you probably would end up not choosing any of them. You know what I mean? So the less options you have, the more likely you are to. And there have been studies done on this, and it's been proven that the less options you have, the more likely you are to choose one. The more options you have, yeah, you may look through them and engage with it, but you're less likely to choose one because now you're thinking to yourself, well, what else is there? So
think about the large amount of options. Oh wow, I have all these options, all these matches. It's great. It's great. But do a large amount of options create a genuine connection? You can really only create a genuine connection with maybe 1 or 2 people if you're trying to kind of work it to that one person that you're eventually looking to commit to and create a long-term relationship with. But it's really quality over quantity. And that's what you really want to be on the lookout for.
And like we said in the beginning of the podcast, this was back in 2021. There was like 330 million active users on online dating. So what appears to be options are just users just like you. They're just other people that have online dating apps. So they're not even necessarily options. They're just other people that are just using the app just like you are. And, you know, out of all those people, there may be a small percentage that you connect with and an even smaller connection of people that you'll be compatible with. And then maybe a percent of that you'll actually get along with and have something with. So it's that illusion of option is what it is.
You can play the numbers game, but don't expect a positive outcome from it.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't play the numbers game because you're not going to get a genuine connection from it, or you are highly unlikely to get a genuine connection from it. Good luck. Good luck. You have all these options. How are you going to balance each one of them? You have to focus on a couple, try to make the best connection you can, and then eventually that'll turn into one.
And that's why I think it's also important to kind of ask yourself ahead of time, if you're going to engage in like online dating and connecting and engaging in conversation with people, you should kind of ask yourself, like, what are you really looking to get out of this? And maybe just let that be known from the get-go, because there's, you know, three quarters of the users are looking for relationships, are looking to see somebody steadily, and then a quarter of them are looking for just something casual. So, you know, I think guys in general are probably looking for something more casual, and then see if it's somebody that they're compatible with to date. We kind of think differently, right? Women want to know, like, right from the get-go, like, are you looking for commitment or not? But men don't think that way. We don't say from the get-go, we're on here to look for relationships. We meet somebody and then we see if we want to date them. So we kind of like, it's like yin and yang in that sense. So
when you match with someone, you want to create a mutual attraction. That's what happens. You create a mutual attraction. You enjoy talking to each other. You build that connection. It's that spark at the beginning that creates it, and you just build and build from there. But again, it's hard when you have too many choices. You're it's like juggling. How many balls can you juggle? You know, some people have trouble juggling one.
And what does it lead to? You know, people will talk to multiple people at a time. It's impossible to really focus on just one in that case, right? And that illusion of option just keeps going, because you may start to lose interest or kind of get bored with one person, and you have another few that you're talking to, and then in the meantime you're on the app looking for more people anyway. So it starts to become, and an interesting thing too is, don't forget, these dating apps, it's a business, right? They want people to stay on the apps and continue engaging, and it's designed that way. It's not designed. I don't think dating apps are really designed for people to just find a partner and leave. They want people to stay on the apps. You know, I mean, keep in mind, like, they have a reason, just like any other social media app, to keep you engaged and continue coming back to that app. So
there's a bunch of dating apps. I mean, there's Bumble, Plenty of Fish, Coffee Meets Bagel, Hinge, eHarmony, Match.com. One of the most popular is Tinder. Now we'll go off with some more statistics. And when it comes to too many choices, women receive 2.7 matches versus men at 1.1 matches per day. So if you calculate that per year, you're looking at approximately women receiving 1,000 matches a year versus men receiving 400 matches a year. And I would say that's on the high end for men.
You know, another thing worth mentioning is that men and women tend to use online dating apps for different reasons in a way, because some women may just, especially the good-looking ones, could just use it as a form of validation. They see all the connections coming in and guys trying to, DM them and offer them dates and what have you. When they may not have any interest whatsoever in meeting up with any of them, that they might pick that one that they like. You know, for guys, it's not like that, because I don't think guys go on online dating apps looking for a validation, because we don't get validation. We're on the other side of the table, so we're the ones that have to, like, provide the value and, like, have nice pictures and get a good conversation started to get the girl's interest. So I think when guys are on social media, on online dating apps, they're looking to actually meet up with the girl that they're connecting with.
I think you hit it right on the money right there. There are men that are really trying to get a connection or just have a good time, make a connection to have either or. Women, for the most part, go on there for the high, to play the game, to really see, oh wow, look at all these options that I have. I can pick whoever I want, or I could pick none of them, or I could pick one of them. Who's the best one? And when you're talking about an average male versus a high value male, to compete for a woman on Tinder, you have to be on your A game. Starts with your pictures, your bio. I mean, that's what she's going to perceive you from. That's what she's going to look through and see, okay, is this guy worth my time? Is this guy worth even talking to, even saying hello to?
And for guys, I think you should really aim to meet up as soon as possible. Within the next couple of days, that weekend. Don't engage in the whole purpose of texting back and forth is really just like logistics. Like, are we meeting up? Where? When? What time? Let's go do this thing Saturday. Because if you don't meet up and you're just texting back and forth, you're going to waste your time. And that's when like the ghosting or the fading may come into play, because you'll entertain her. And if she's a girl that's just looking for validation, she'll, keep you spinning for days, weeks, and nothing will ever happen. So you have to kind of like aim to meet up as soon as possible. And then once you meet in person, you'll see from there if there's anything, worth pursuing, if you're into her, if she's into you. So,
couple more statistics here. When we think about the use of the dating apps, women only swipe right 30% of the time. That means there's something up 70% of the time that they just don't feel like swiping right. Could be a variety of reasons. We can go through them, but of course, you can use your imagination and think about what those reasons may be.
We just did an episode on this previously. What was the stat? That 87% of women only find 20% of men attractive on dating apps.
And it's crazy, but it's true. So now we can look at 20% of all female dating app users turn down more than 80% of potential male matches. So I think that's kind of what you're saying there with regards to that previous statistic. And it really says a lot about the amount of choices men have versus women. And again, we are here mentioning certain things that women can get offended by.
How dare you?
But in this situation, men are going to be the ones that really have to hear this and really step up their game.
Women are more selective than ever. They're going to select and swipe on maybe 20% of the guys on online dating apps. And out of that 20%, it's not like they feel obligated to entertain these guys and meet up with them anyway. Out of that 20%, they may just select a handful that they're actually really attracted to and physically, and then meet up in person, and it goes from there. But women are far more selective, I think, in that sense. Guys, I think we match with a girl that we're attracted to, and we're like, all right, we're ready to, let's meet up, And the women aren't like that at all. They're going to dig a little further, like, where does he work? Let me look through his other pictures. Let me find his other social media profiles and like kind of, see the whole story. We're not interested in hearing the whole story. Guys, let's be real. We just want to see how you look, text a little bit, and then meet up and go from there. There's only so much you could convey online anyway. Like now there's a lot of we didn't even put this on this list, but catfishing is one of the most obvious ones on social media. It's one of the biggest flaws of online dating apps.
That's a big negative. We didn't touch on catfishing. There's people out there portraying to be someone that they're not, and that's part of the scam of being on these dating apps. So both genders have to watch out who they're talking to. You have to be really careful because it's not only for scams, but for safety reasons as well.
Yeah.
Think about meeting up with someone that you thought they were one person, and then all of a sudden you meet up with them and they're somebody totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, uh-oh, what do I do now? So I would say
you definitely want to see them in person or at least FaceTime to begin with to see what they look like. Because, look, let's be real. Most women in one way, shape, or form are altering their pictures, right? There's all different types of apps. You can airbrush. You could change the shape of your chin and body. You could slim yourself. So you have to see each other in person.
Definitely, I agree. And I was going to say FaceTime each other. Definitely FaceTime each other. And when you meet up, you can meet at a public place if you still don't feel comfortable. Meet at a Starbucks, at a diner. Meet somewhere where there's more people, because if you do things your own way and you just message each other and then all of a sudden meet up, you may not see what's coming. So I would be careful with that. Be really careful. So before we continue, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're giving you a lot of sauce on the negatives of dating apps. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, like the video, comment, let us know what you think. We've heard the bad, we've heard the good. So hopefully more good than bad on the comment section. And again, we're here giving you everything when it comes to negatives with online dating. So let's continue. And a third negative of online dating are when people use dating apps for the wrong reasons. What are your thoughts on that?
So this one's kind of all over the place, because this is why I said earlier, you have to kind of make your intentions known up front and kind of sniff out if that person's looking for what you're looking for. Because the last thing people want to do is connect with somebody, conversate for weeks or months at a time, and then find out it's not the person that you thought it was, or that you're not compatible, or that you're not attracted to them, or maybe they look good, but you meet them in person, their personality's completely off. So I think it's important to understand what are you trying to get out of dating apps, and then play accordingly.
The thing is that there's a conflict of interest between the app and the person that's using the app. And the apps are supposed to create excitement. They're supposed to create potential romance, long-term relationships. But the thing is that dating apps just get people to spend more time with the dating app itself. You're pretty much creating a relationship with the dating app and not with the person that you matched with using the dating app.
And that's why I don't recommend using or paying for additional features on dating apps. It's unnecessary. There's so many dating apps out there. Like a lot of apps will try to get you to pay for like the pro or the gold version of the app. I think it's pointless, because it's not increasing your chances, or it's not going to make things any better or easier. It's just a reminder, all dating apps, it's still a business. They're still trying to profit from you in some way, whether it's advertising or you paying for the premium version of the app. It's not going to improve your chances. I mean, I would say you're better off using multiple apps. Use Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, Coffee Meets Bagel, whichever other ones are, and just use all of those, and just continue swiping and connecting people with people that way. I don't think that necessarily the app showing you 50 people that liked your photo is necessarily going to help.
Yeah, the thing is that, are you spending too much time getting matches instead of getting to know the matches? If you, again, can get a potential relationship with them, or a potential romance, or whatever the case, maybe even for fun, because I know people use dating apps for fun. And if you're not, then you're simply wasting your time. You could be putting your time better off to something else, creating a business, working out, building up your social status.
For guys, I would say a good way to play it, because you have to kind of have a strategy to be successful in online dating. I would say the main thing is test her level of interest by trying to meet up. If she gives you excuses and tries to prolong it, that's not a good sign. If she wants to meet up, good. That's a green flag, right? The second thing I would watch out for is see what kind of a date she pushes for on the first date. If she pushes high-end restaurants, if she wants you to take her to Salt Bay for the first date, or to some like 4 or 5 star Michelin rated star restaurant,
hell no.
You're probably just dealing with a girl that's just trying to get a free date and free dinner out of you. So I know a lot of women are so against this. Like, why is it that guys want to meet up for coffee? I'm not going to let him waste my time. It's not about wasting time. The guy doesn't want to have his time and money wasted either. So you have to meet up that first time. okay, if she doesn't want to go for coffee, it's perfectly fine to go for drinks or dinner, but don't let her like drag you out to some like high end restaurant on the first date. No way. You could go maybe on the second, third date, but you got to meet up at least once and see each other. Who wants to spend $100, $200, $300 just pointlessly to meet somebody for the first time, only to find out they're not interested in you or that you're not attracted to them?
So. Take her to McDonald's for the first date. Do they still give Happy Meals out? I haven't been there in a long time. Take her
to the drive-thru for the first date. But seriously, aim to meet up as soon as possible, and don't spend a lot of money on the first date.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that. You have to build to that, because if you don't build to that, and right off the bat you're spending $200, $300, $500, maybe even $1,000 if you're buying bottles, you're already losing right there, because we don't know if you're going to see her tomorrow.
And this is where I think women kind of screwed up for themselves, because I think most guys would be perfectly fine with spending money on women, but they have to see that they're getting their investment returned. So when women have these high expectations right out the gate, it's kind of a red flag for us. Guys don't have a problem investing money and spending time and going to fancy restaurants if you know that's your girl, sure. But to take some random girl off Tinder to a restaurant and spend $200-$300 to try to impress her, I think it's stupid.
It has to be worth it.
Don't waste your money.
It has to be worth it. And just like you said, you're investing. You want to get your ROI, your return on investment. So if you're not getting your return on investment, what's the point?
You have to see that she's not just taking you for a ride. That's the main thing. Because you're not the only guy that's connecting with her on Tinder and taking her out on dates and paying for her and then trying to impress her.
That's the thing where guys fall flat, is that women sell men a dream, and they say, oh, we're excited to meet up and do all these things, and they never happen.
I hear this all the time, women complaining on YouTube and TikTok and podcasts. Men put in minimal effort. Men aren't putting in effort anymore. But they fail to like consider why that's happening. Oh, don't accept the bare minimum. I don't think it's that guys want to put in the bare minimum effort. It's just I think guys are kind of tired of putting in maximum effort and getting nothing in return. Of course you're going to stop putting in effort at a certain point in time. You put in 100% effort, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and the 9th, 10th time you're going to say like, all right, I'm not putting in any effort.
Let's rewind for a second. Let's go back to what we said earlier. We have people that ghost, people that are fading away, and orbiters. And what you just said there is, why are guys pretty much giving up on dating, relationships, or even going outside the country for dating and all that? And we'll talk about that in another episode. Is because of just that. Women that are ghosting them, women that are fading away, and women that are orbiting. And we wouldn't talk about women doing this to men if it wasn't because they have all these choices. Women get all these choices, and they screw it up for themselves, simply put.
Women will never say to you, hey, I know you're taking me on a lot of expensive dates and dinners and drinks, but I just want to let you know that moving forward, I just want you to know that I have no interest in you or sleeping with you. No, gotcha, they're going to spend the time with you and go out on the dates and all that stuff because they're getting what they want. You're not getting anything out of it.
And if women say that they are giving back to the guy,
stop the cap.
They're not. So stop lying to men. Stop lying to yourself, because with that mentality and with those actions, you aren't going to progress to a true, genuine connection, a true, genuine relationship.
100%. You gotta be careful, because women nowadays, not all, but some women will take you on a ride, and it's very easy to fall into it. So,
to wrap up, you can create and get all these matches, but at the end of the day, make sure that you avoid the negatives of dating apps and go out there and create a genuine connection and create a genuine relationship.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.